Hi all. Good afternoon all. How are you? So today, Shashank and I are going to talk something about open source and Hacktoberfest. So how many of you are familiar with open source and Hacktoberfest and anything? Open source you're familiar with, right? So like in brief, if I have to tell you, open source is something where I would say is something where you contribute to a project, an online project, mainly on GitHub. So basically, a lot of organizations post some projects and you'll have to work on it. So similarly, Hacktoberfest, which is conducted during the month of October, it starts from October. So this is when Hacktoberfest will provide you a platform uh, to work on projects, to help in debugging them, um, uh, creating something new or adding some ideas. You can help more in the projects as well. So this is what Hacktoberfest is. So as you know, like this is a community where collaboration, bug fixing, or adding some new codes, new ideas, new repositories happens. So this is what Hacktoberfest is, and like Hacktoberfest provides you a platform for all these. So what can we do in Hacktoberfest? First of all, like you can share your own projects, your own ideas. Uh, you can share your own projects and let others work on it. You can let others add something new, some new ideas or debug it, and also you can work on projects by pull requests and all. So you can work on the projects like I mentioned. You can work on debugging them, finding the errors where the errors are. So and also you can organize an event. So you can organize an event and teach people something new. Like you can share your ideas while conducting an event as well. So and also you can help others who are working on projects. Like you can mentor others. That's like you can teach others on how to debug some codes or work on a new project and all. And also you can donate by adding some money for the required project, like few projects that need some licenses, APIs and all. You can help these projects, these organizations by funding them. So this is what you can do. Also, there are a few rules in Hacktoberfest. So actually, in Hacktoberfest, there are two kinds of people. So mainly one is maintainers, and other one are contributors. So maintainers are someone who uh, release a new project, who conduct a new experiment, a new project, and let others work on them. And contributors like us, or maybe you in some time, who can work on these projects to like make it better eventually. So, so maintainers must opt in for a Hacktoberfest. So basically, what does it mean is that if you want to work on a project, the maintainers first let you in for the project. So spammy pull request and merge requests will be labeled. PRs and MRs means pull request and merge request, which my friend Shashank will speak more about. So and these pull request and merge request and errors that you fix will be only accepted and implemented if the maintainer accepts it. Like you have worked on some project, but it will be implemented and executed only if the maintainers accept it. He'll run it, and of course he'll test it and all, and then only he'll accept it. And there is also a system that reports bad repositories. Repositories means your projects. So if there are some uh, bad projects, it will just get rejected by the system of Hacktoberfest. So, and also Hacktoberfest is more of an event where people try to learn more. And it's not just about winning prizes and all. So Hacktoberfest has given a little importance on those as well. So this is what the basic things are about Hacktoberfest. Now I'll hand over it to Shashank. He'll explain you about open source and closed source. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shivram. So as you know about open source, it refers to a software code which is freely available to the public, which can be modified by the public, and it can be editable and redistributed for their own projects. So we all know that every software created has a source code. So source code is something which tells how the program works. And then this means open source means the source code is available online and you have the rights to edit them and make it your own also. So you can read, edit, and redistribute the code. So, but these open source codes are sometimes not bug free. Uh, so can you guys guess the icons there? What's the first one? Yes. Yeah, that's great. That's Linux. Second one. Yeah, that's correct. The third one. No, it's GIMP. It's GIMP. So it's the alternative for Photoshop, which is open source and free. It is open source. So next is closed source. So it is exactly the opposite of open source. So you won't be able to edit the source code, and then you can't modify it, and you can't see the source code actually. So what is the first icon here? What? No, it's Mac OS. Yeah. And then the second one, Zoom. And then third one, that's simple. And then, so these are the differences of open source and closed source. So open source is that anyone with a required skill set can fix the problem. Just like Linux, Linux is open source. So whenever there is a bug in Linux, so the contributors who has the required amount of skill set can fix the bug. So, but then closed source, the development happens to the particular software development team. So it takes a lot of time to fix a bug. In case of Linux, the bug fixing will happen so fast, but then in Windows 11, it's very slow. And open source is usually free for use. It is usually free because there are some features which we can't access, which we have to pay for. And for closed source, it is paid. And open source, because it is open source, the contributors can update or the public can edit the code. So there are constant updates, just like Linux. And then whereas closed source, it takes a lot of time. And then open source is privacy friendly. So you get to know the source code, right? So you get to know what kind of data they are going to access. But whereas closed source, they don't give us the source code. So we don't know whether it's privacy friendly or not. Maybe they are tracking our locations also, but you never know that. So that was it for open source and closed source. Moving on to introduction to Git and GitHub. So Git is a popular version control system. Version control system is something where you initialize a project and then you make changes to it. Maybe, for example, you are adding an header to HTML file, and then after 2 weeks, maybe you are changing header content. So the Git will take control over the version control, like what changes were made, when and why. So it will be easy for you to revert back the changes if you screwed it up somehow. So, and then it is open source too. And then it is used to track changes in source code, and it enables multiple people to work on the same projects. So you can see the image there. So that's the main line. So when there is a main line and when you are doing some contribution, you will have a separate branch. So in a separate branch, you have your own changes. So and then you can give access, and then you can pull a pull request. And then if the pull request is valid and error free, then it will be merged to the main branch. So that is how Git works. So next is GitHub. So GitHub is a cloud-based service and a web platform, but then don't get confused with Git and GitHub because they both are not the same. GitHub is a platform which uses Git as a version control system. So GitHub does not exist without Git, but Git can exist without GitHub. So It is one of the major software development platforms and most of the popular platforms for version control and collaboration among developers. So there are two icons there. So can you guess what the icons are? Yeah, that's correct. It's big bucket. Yeah, nice try. Thank you. And if you have any doubts, you can ask us. And be sure to bring your laptops for the next session, which is tomorrow, because we will be learning more about Git and GitHub and the commands, basic commands. And make sure you guys download Git also. It is just download the software or the exe file. We will learn how to install it in the next session, and then make sure you guys create your GitHub accounts. It's really important if you are a software developer. Yeah, thank you. I'll hand it over to Devansh.
Hello. So how are all of you? So did you understand the basics of today's sessions? Why did we conduct this session first of all? What was the main motive? Anyone? Correct. So that you're aware of Git and GitHub. Okay, so that is one reason. That is just a medium. But what is the main objective of this? Hacktoberfest. Okay, so why is Hacktoberfest so important? Hacktoberfest, essentially entering into Hacktoberfest is a very big achievement for all of us. You can add a lot to your resume just by entering into it. And the way you enter into it is by using Git and GitHub. That is why we are conducting all of this. And being engineers, Git and GitHub is like the basics of collaboration with anyone. Like all the engineers should know Git and GitHub. It's that must. But I'm afraid to tell you, there are some people, even in third year, who aren't aware of it still, who are not comfortable yet with Git, and that causes them a lot of back pain. So basically, when you go to people that hire you to, they sometimes do check your Git and GitHub accounts too, to see how active you are, to see what all you contributed to. So sometimes you don't even have to be too good in the interview. Your account speaks for you. And getting this in your GitHub account, not only GitHub account, you can add this to your resume, guys, literally your LinkedIn too. It's a very big achievement. So again, work for it. Now talking about GCCP, how many of you guys are still keeping up with it? To cloud camping. All of you? Okay, there are a few people. Yeah, so the main thing is consistency and determination. That is the only difference that will ever occur. Everything depends upon you guys, how interested you are. Okay. So now Git and GitHub. Okay, so you all in Amrita, you'll all have to do projects regardless of what happens. Okay. So, okay, the way you get distinction in Amrita is you have to get a project that is published. And the easiest way to then collaborate and show people that you have done the project, the whole history of it, is Git and GitHub. And there are many seniors who still don't do it, who still haven't used Git and GitHub. So the process becomes harder for them. So that's why it's very essential that you guys are very comfortable with Git and GitHub as of now, and do go after the Hacktoberfest, search for it online. Just go through some videos, it's fine. Just take 10 minutes of your day, okay? And install Git. Even if you don't install, it's okay. Tomorrow we're going to go through the whole process of it. And keep in mind how important Git and GitHub is. Cool? Now, any doubts? Anyone? Also, guys, yeah, the account registration for Hacktoberfest only starts after
In the month of
October. That's why Hacktoberfest. Okay, cool then. That'll be all for today's session. Thank you.